guys. We are at a no heat call for a downstairs unit, and as you'll notice, I have two package units. One for the downstairs, which is this one, and then one over here for the upstairs. This is an old farmhouse that's been kind of redesigned and redone, and for whatever reason, this was the plan. Package unit downstairs and then package unit upstairs. So, anyway, set on 68. I'm not getting above 62 degrees downstairs. So both older train package units, and I'm bundled up a little bit. It's about 34 degrees, but damn, it's windy. So right off the bat, I turned the thermostat on and got a call for cooling, or excuse me, call for heating. And I take this door off, I'm hearing a hum and a slight burning smell. I did turn the fan on at the thermostat. The blower does come on, blow air, filters are good, but I'm hearing a humming, and it's coming from the inducer motor. Go figure. So let's see what we got. Yeah, some kind of amp draw we're getting. This does have a capacitor on it. Hopefully maybe that's all the problem is. Let's see what we got. Getting the amp draw on this thing, 0.2. Let's see, it's 2-stage. Let's see what we're getting there. Nothing on that one. Let's try the purple wire. Getting a 0.3 on that one. These motors don't pull a lot of amps, but anyway, it's trying to run. It just ain't coming on. So let me open the tripod up a little bit. I'm going to turn the power off. I'm going to check the capacitor on this thing. Okay. So these do have a small capacitor on them, on these 2-stage inducer motors. Usually like a 2 or 3 or 4, I don't know. But they do go bad from time to time. I hope that's all it is. That would be nice, but that motor has gotten kind of hot pretty quick. No, it was off. We usually tell everybody to turn the system off till we get there. And I turned it on, so it's only been a few minutes. So let's see what our capacitor is reading. And 1.6 on the capacitor. Not sure what size it is. If I can maybe get a mirror or something back there and see. That being the original motor, should be that BLW 1311 motor. I'm gonna check this and see. 2007, so should be the 1311 motor, but if I can get a mirror back here and see what size this capacitor is. Nope. Let's see if I can get an idea on the sticker. Might tell me. what size it is. Oh. And motor class B. I'm reading backwards because I'm using this mirror. And it is a 2 microfarad capacitor, so we're reading 1.6.5 out of 2. That's not gonna keep that little motor from running. More than likely we're gonna end up needing an inducer motor on this. We do keep those on our service vans. Everybody knows I don't drive a van because of my position where I'm at as a field supervisor, not so much as a all day running techs, running service calls all the time. So I don't keep these motors on the truck or on my truck because I'm not in a van. But we're going to need an inducer motor. It's not going to be that cheap. Probably should check the heat exchanger in this thing before I go in there spouting about an inducer motor. So let me get this blower out and we'll get in there and check the heat exchanger. Alright, so got the blower out. And I've already looked around in there a little bit. I'll just take you for the ride. There's the evaporator coil in there. There's the heat exchanger. One of the easier ways, just pop the blower motor out in this thing, but usually you get your little holes in these little divots right in there. Sometimes it'll be around the back, but so anyway, I still always like to look at them just to be sure. I'm not seeing anything on it. So let me go see what she wants to do and give her an estimate and a quote. Luckily we have a Train parts supplier about 20 minutes up the road in North Raleigh. They had the motor I was looking for. Look, we keep these motors on the truck. The LW 1311 and the 1310, 2-stage and single-stage draft motors. I didn't have a tech that was close to me. Most of them are south of Raleigh actually today, so I'm way up north of Raleigh. But anyway, there's 2 suppliers here we get parts from, and there's one right down the road, and that's where I went. Anyway, we'll get this motor swapped out and get this lady some heat. She's an elderly lady. She's been a customer of ours for years and years, and we're going to help her out a little bit, fixed income kind of thing like that. Split this up into payments. She's got to get it fixed. So let's get this thing out of here and get it running. The breaker is off, and getting these things out are a little tricky. Sometimes it will take you along for the complete ride. But this pressure switch back here, got some screws, 1/4-inch screws back there in the back that you have to get out to get the pressure switch out. So give me a minute to do that. These little 1/4-inch screws. And the pressure switch drops right out of the way. And let's get these wires undone. Motors aren't that bad to replace. You just have to getting the gasket up and in place. It's a little tricky. This motor go on. So that's the difference. What we're looking at is this motor Got these 3 wires here. They originally just plugged them together like that. And this has the plug on it, obviously. So I'm going to take these wires and put the matching stake on and plug them together with these 3 wires that are on this plug right here. Alright, red and blue. Just so I don't get tangled up in it. And I typically will take the switch out rather than try to unplug the wires from it, because when those wires get stuck on there real tight and they've been on there a long time, you try to pull them off, you'll sometimes pull one side of this switch apart, then you'll be looking for a rollout switch. So I try not to unplug those switches if I can help it. I just take them out and move them to the side, unplug the flame sensor. Now before I turn this back on, I'm going to clean the flame sensor, and I'm going to clean the hose port for the pressure switch tubing back here. Clean that out, and then clean the flame sensor down there. Doesn't matter what I'm doing on a furnace if I can remember. Do I remember to do it every time? No. But I don't want any stupid recalls over a dirty flame sensor or a clogged pressure port. So if I'm replacing a gas valve, blower motor, inducer motor, control board, whatever I'm doing on a furnace, I try to do those 2 things along with it, just so I don't have a stupid callback. So anyway, let's get the screws out of this thing. Get the flue cover off first, because this overlaps the end of the inducer housing, so it's easier to get the motor situated back in there. If you take this off, it was probably about time, because that wheel's looking a little crusty in there. Wouldn't be long before those blades start flying off of it. Anyway, it's about 5 of these screws to hold this thing in. Sometimes getting the right angle. Hopefully that thing's not rounded off. So my best bet is probably going to be to try to do that with a nut driver. Let's see if I can get a good angle on that screw. Doesn't look rounded off. I mean, they're rusted a little bit. I kind of figured I was going to end up having to replace a few of the screws, but Let's figure out how we're going to get this screw out down here. Having to take the burner rack out so I can get back to it. I've got a tool I can use to grab it and loosen it, but I'm not going to fit it back through there. Sometimes you can wiggle that and you can break that one screw free. There's a blade right there. This unit's been here 17 years. So unless this motor has been replaced before, this thing has lost a blade on it. Huh. All right. Looks like I'm gonna have to take the burner rack out so I can get back in there and grab that screw head and see if I can break it free. Guys, you get it rusted out or rounded off. I mean, it can't be rusted flat, but you get a rounded off screw head. If you can get access to it, just get a pair of these Knipex twin grips like these right there on the end. And get in there and grab hold of that thing. It takes a bit to get it to break free, but once you do, then you can run that thing off and get your screw up. So there you go. I'll finagle this thing out of here. There's some rust in there, but it's cosmetic. Luckily, there's nothing breaking through. It is what it is. It's just a rust ring around where it mounts to.
Is it working?
Not yet. I got to get it in. This one fighting me a little bit. So,
To come out?
yeah, the screws were getting them broke loose. They were rust locked a little bit. You're actually missing some of the blades off the wheel.
What the hell that happened?
Rust. These things rust out real bad. You're lucky it lasted as long as it did. It was the original one. When I got down here and started getting stuff apart, I looked down here and I saw one laying in the mulch. And I thought,
blade.
yeah. And once I got it out, I could see that it was missing. It's missing 4 of them.
Wow.
And it's just rust because when this thing's running and it's pulling that exhaust through, this stuff it sweats, it condensates. Because it's hot and it's cool and it's hot and it's cool. Plus it sits outside and you see him all summer. And then
It would be nice to have a cover up over.
Yeah, no, you can't do that. Because the air's got to get up when the air conditioning's running. You got to have airflow through here. But I mean, that's not going to keep the humidity out here from doing what it does. But those wheels rust and the blades start coming up, and just happened that it locked up before eventually all the blades would have just came off of it.
I'm going to go back in.
Okay. Yeah, it's windy. Alright guys, so I got the motor in. Homeowner came out and was talking to me for a little bit. So now I've got my 3 wires. I'm going to get these off to the side real quick. Red, blue, and black. Over there. Gonna get everything mounted back in place. And then I'm gonna clean the flame sensor and the hose port. And we're gonna get this thing turned back on. Like I said, I always want to take the flame sensor out. I'm gonna use a little flame sensor cleaner. An internal brush. Brush and clean them off. It works perfectly fine. We are coming back to do the maintenance on this unit in 2 weeks. It just happened to be it quit working before we got a chance to come out and do the maintenance on it. Then I use these little brushes that I get at Harbor Freight. Get a 5-pack for $2. And that's what I use to go in here and clean up these ports. And this one's a medium. There's another brush that's a little smaller, but you can stick your Allen wrench in there, whatever you want to do. I usually just punch that brush through there a couple of times. And I'm going to go ahead and clean these burners while I'm here. I know we're coming back to do the maintenance in a couple of weeks, but just one of those things. Anything that's going to keep me from having some kind of ridiculous, another motor goes bad or something, it is what it is, but having to come back, oh, my burner, or my flame sensor was filthy, and I could have taken 2 minutes to clean it. So I just go ahead and try to do those things. These burners get a little rusty. This house had propane for years, then the town started spreading out a little bit, got bigger, and then we switched everything over to natural gas a few years back. But these are the original burners, and LP gas will take it just doesn't burn the same as natural gas. It will rust up some burners on a package unit like you wouldn't believe. So anyway, let's get the rest of this thing put back together. Alright guys, got everything put back together. I went ahead, this thing had that plug harness on it. The motor that came out had the individual stake-on plug, so I just cut those off and just wire knotted them together. It's no big deal. It's 17 years old. Not a big deal. Anyway, let's turn the breaker back on. See if she fires off. As you can see, when I got this one out, it's missing some of the blades. So I shot off. I found that one earlier in the mulch, but got it out. It's actually missing 4 blades. So here's what it is with package units. And we have ignition. I'm gonna go put this foot cover back on, get this thing pinned back up, let it run a little bit, and close this one out. Appreciate you watching, guys. Like, subscribe, and see you on the next one.